Here we are at Transport Museum Wythall, and this is Reece, who runs the miniature railway. We're going to find out some more on a little ride around the block. Well, here at Transport Museum Wythall, amongst all of the beautifully preserved buses that we have here, we've also got this little gem. It's a miniature railway, and I'm with Reece, who's in charge of everything here. Tell us about this, Reece.
Yeah, so the railway is a very, very important part of the customer offering here at Wythall. It caters not just for transport enthusiasts, but equally to families. So the railway is operated by a team of volunteers, and we're part of an engineering society. So the society is Elmdon Model Engineering Society. So that started its life in the early 80s. In Elmdon Park, the civil service ground.
Right.
So they were there for a number of years. Yeah. We moved from the service ground because it's not a particularly secure part of Birmingham. We moved then to Tyseley Locomotive Works. We then moved from the Locomotive Works to here in '95, and over a period of 2 years, we landscaped the site for the museum. So whilst we're technically two separate entities, we work harmoniously with each other to provide an attraction for families and visitors. And it took 2 years from moving in '95 to the circuit being complete. And over the years, we've invested in rolling stock, engines, and general other features, much like the pond that we're just about to go past, which we completed this year. So yeah.
And how long to train to be one of these drivers here?
It varies from individuals to individuals. So some people have a natural flair for it, and others, we have such a wide demographic of volunteer. We have some people who want to just become a volunteer to help with assisting in the running of the trains, like station staff, ticket office. We have some engineering lecturers from colleges that come and want to pass on engineering knowledge. Yeah. Like myself, as my day job, I'm a civil engineer for the railway, so I do a lot of work on like HS2 and for Network Rail. So I like to think that we have such a wide array of skills that come together to help run a miniature railway. That it doesn't matter what your background is. There's always something that you can map into it. I mean, whether it's assisting with a garden. So our driver on the train today, every year, him and his wife grow all of the plants that you see on site. We're going into the winter now, so everything's looking a little bit tired. But yeah, there's something for everybody to do here.
And do you run this on the same principle as a big railway?
Absolutely. So
we've got signals there. We've got points and things.
So we have fully interlocked signal system that's operated by a PLC, and we have signal blocks that are operated by track circuits. Equally, when you look around the site, for a relatively small miniature railway, we have a viaduct, we've got a tunnel, we have a road crossing, we've got 2 stations. There's a lot of elements that come together to form quite a complex railway in a nice tight space.
And you must have lots of excited children and adults as well.
Absolutely.
Coming to visit.
Yeah, all the time. We have our regulars that come along and visit, that turn up every single week, as well as people that come from quite far afield, and they're amazing. All they say every time they come here is, "We had no idea that this place existed." It's one of those little gems that's always hidden away from people. Although over the last couple of years, a lot of effort's gone into shouting about the place. So yeah.
And how many engines have you got?
So we've got a number of society-owned locos. So we've got 5 society-owned steam locos, but then members themselves own their own as well, which is part of the hobby. That you want to tinker with them and do improvements to them. So we did a bit of a tot-up a couple of months ago on active engines that run on the railway, and we're up to about 20 steam locos, and then there's an assortment of diesel hydraulics that also run. as well as like battery electric engines that some of the members' grandchildren come up and have a play with midweek when we're shut to the public.
So you work on the big railway, the main railway, in your day job. Were you a railway enthusiast as a child, or have you grown into it?
So my granddad is an avid model engineer. He was equally a civil engineer, the same as me. And I used to go and spend a week at his house with my brothers and sisters in the summer holidays, and all I wanted to do was go in his workshop. That was all I wanted to do. I didn't want to go and visit places.
Yeah.
And railways are a bit of a bug, you know. Some people catch it and some people don't. And for me, I found this place by chance. So obviously I had the railway bug and the model engineering bug from Grandad. Yeah. And I happened to stumble on this place just one weekend. I saw steam coming up from one of the bushes on the edge of the site. I had a wander in, and one of the older members said, come on in, come and have a look, you know, and was showing me around. And I was hooked ever since. I think I must have been 8 or 9 at that time, and I'm 28 now, and I'm here virtually every single weekend, helping run, and I absolutely love the place.
And we've got plenty of rail replacement buses for when you don't run.
When you look at model engineering societies around the country, there are very few that actually run as often as this one does. I mean, we operate weather dependent and depending on volunteer availability. Every time the museum opens its doors, so virtually every weekend, every single Wednesday during school holidays, as well as Christmas this year as well. So the 13th and 14th, right. There's a Christmas opening here.
Yeah.
The best thing to do with that though is just to check our Facebook socials to make sure that you know, if the weather is a bit inclement, to check that we are still running. And of course, obviously, we're a volunteer-led organisation. So if you're listening to this and you think, do you know what, I'd actually be interested in coming and helping out these guys or mucking in, just reach out on our website or Facebook, and we can see whether we can get you roped into something.
Remind us of the website.
www.wythallsteamrail.com. And if you want to go onto our Facebook page, if you just search Wythall Miniature Railway, we'll come up as the top search.
Lovely. Reece, thank you for your time today. It's a brilliant little addition to this wonderful place.
No worries, Phil.
So another incredible find here at Transport Museum Wythall. This is a Volvo Ailsa. It's a bit different to some of the other vehicles we've got here, and its owner and preservationist Keith is sitting on here. Let's go and have a chat with him and find out some more. So Keith,
hello.
This is your bus.
It is, yes.
What's different about it to all the others?
Engine at the front, but suitable for one-man operation. So basically, in the 60s, the first generation rear-engine double-deckers were terribly unreliable. So somebody came up with the idea of this vehicle with a small turbocharged engine to fit at the front, but still enough room for passengers to get on and just have the driver to drive it without a conductor. That's the concept was born. And this is the first of 10 prototypes, pre-production prototypes. And there are only 2 survivors left out of the 10 prototypes. So we've got this one. We've also got a later one, which is quite a bit different.
So it's Swedish.
The chassis the chassis and the body are built in Scotland.
Okay.
The engine's Volvo, which is Swedish, but everything else is built in Britain.
Right.
All the brakes, the gearbox, the rear axles, front axle, 91% British.
And how many of these were built in total for the West Midlands?
West Midlands had 3 prototypes. then another 50, and then they did want to buy some extra ones, but at the time the county council put a spanner in the works, saying you've got to buy more locally. So they built metro buses, but later they got told off for that because they said they should have dual sourced and shouldn't have had basically shouldn't have had just one type of vehicle. They should have had a few more. So.
And if you're of a certain age and you remember going to school on these, you would have caught these. What depots were these running from?
Sutton Coldfield and Albury. Albury, the notable one with quite hilly terrain. Albury being situated where it was, you either went up a hill or down a hill.
Yeah.
Either way, and the noise that these made certainly was amplified through that area. And most notably, a lot of people, even though they weren't enthusiasts, still remember these. A, because of the noise, and B, because when you go upstairs, you can't sit at the usual spot at the front.
No,
there's a gap there. There's no seat. So even now, if you go around the Black Country or around Sutton and around there, you still see people stop and look around when they hear the noise because they remember it from there.
It's a unique noise, isn't it?
It is.
It's a unique noise. Yeah. And you've had this vehicle how long?
I've had it since 2006. I bought it in a derelict condition. It was purchased in 1987 for preservation, but fell out of use. So we bought it in 06, derelict, spent the money on it. And the other vehicle we've had since 1989.
And some of these went to London for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, the vehicle in front, that was one of the ones went to London, yeah. 3 years in London. And we bought it straight from London Transport.
So is this a childhood memory for you? Were you a child when these were whizzing around Albury and areas like that? Yeah,
I lived near a busy junction in West Smethwick. So we had these up and down the 87 route and on the 221 route. And straight away I knew they were different, even though I was only small, just by the noise they made. Yeah. And, to see them every day. And, they just, I was interested in other buses as well, but these were the ones.
But these were the ones, and you were determined to have one when they finally came out of service. Or did it just sort of fall into your lap, or did you just decide to?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't really think that way. But then, obviously, as I got older and started to go out to places like this, and it cottoned on that some of the vehicles were actually owned by other people. And then I met a chap who was an engineer at Albury Garage, and we chatted about him. He said we'd like one day, and sure enough. A chance visit to London to have a look at them, and we got chatting to a foreman, and he told us that there were a few available, and we, good old-fashioned way, no internet, good old-fashioned inquiries over the telephone and letters, and then a visit, and then we went to look at that bus in front, 4738, and although it was in a state, we decided to have it, and we've had it ever since. So
brilliant. But thanks for keeping the memories going, Keith. A lot of people turn up at these events and they hear the noise. The noise these makes are quite unique, aren't they? They've got that sort of high-pitched whistling noise when they're going along, haven't they?
That's right, yeah. A lot of people mistakenly think it's a turbocharger making the noise, but it's not. It's actually the mid-mounted gearbox. The alternator is driven off the gearbox, and it has a tuft belt. And that's what makes the noise.
That's what makes the noise.
Yeah, and then sort of after the first 18 months, they changed the design to a silent belt. Yeah. But fortunately, West Midlands and London Transport never bothered altering the design, so they stayed.
They kept the noise.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. So, Keith, thank you very much for your time, and keep the memories flowing.
I shall try, yes. Yeah, I'll try. Thank you.
One of the best things about Transport Museum Wythall is you can go on buses for rides. We're going on one now, on this 1970s Daimler Fleet line, bouncing around on these wonderful red seats. We're going up to the Maypole and back. Brilliant. So we're still riding around on these buses. It's not very nice outside, it's typical autumnal weather, but it's lovely to get out and ride on these classic buses. This 1970s Daimler Fleet line is right back to my school days. I used to catch these buses to school every day, to and from. Memories, eh? So here we are at the turning circle. Andy's been driving the bus. This is a 1970s Daimler Fleet line. Andy, you drive modern buses for a living.
I do.
How different is it?
It's very different. You've got a manual handbrake, a ratchet handbrake. You've got semi-automatic gears. You've got the gear selector, but no clutch. Air-assisted steering, which has its own issues, but it's generally okay. But when I started 30 years ago, we still have these, so I was trained on them at work. But I actually have a soft spot for the older. It's more, it's more hands-on driving. I do quite enjoy it.
And a ticking machine, you can't even put your Swift card on that, you know.
No, you can't.
Look at that.
Yeah.
See? Brilliant stuff. What do you prefer, Andy? Old ones or modern ones?
I prefer old ones, but then again, I'm a bit old-fashioned. But yeah, I prefer that.
Lovely. Thanks, Andy. It's been a brilliant day at Transport Museum Wythall, surrounded by these wonderful pieces of history. And there's so much to find out here: social history, classic old buses, modern buses. If you love your buses and your social history, this is the place you need to come to. Thanks, guys.